Okay, you need to work with me on this. I want you to imagine that you're a stay-at-home mom. You live in the outskirts of Denver. It's a cold day, the end of January. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. You pack your two young sons, aged 2 and 4, in the back seat of the car, and you head to get gas at the local convenience store. The next thing you know, it's midnight. It's freezing out, and you are wandering the streets of downtown Denver. No purse, no wallet, no ID, no car, no kids. Confused. Well, so was Sarah Hatfield, or at least that's what she says. Take a look.
I have 2 boys. We went to the gas station on January 28th. And last thing I remember is waiting in line to put gas in the car.
Sarah Hatfield abandoned her 2 young children in a parked car at a gas station in Thornton.
This was absolutely abnormal, out of character. About 3:30 in the afternoon, I got a phone call from Thornton Police telling me that they had my boys in custody and that Sarah was missing. The police officer told me that the boys were found in a van abandoned at a gas station near our home. It was very cold, windy. With the wind chill, temperatures were below freezing that day. When I arrived at the hospital, the boys were in police custody. I was at that point certain that something had happened to my wife. I was mentally preparing myself that they had found my wife lifeless in a field somewhere. When we left the hospital, right around midnight, I received a phone call from Sarah. She was crying, she was frantic. She said, "I don't know how I got here. I really don't know where I am. I don't know what's going on. I need you to come get me."
I came to. The next thing I was remembering, it was dark outside and I was walking down the street. I had no idea where I was. It was really scary.
Sarah was missing for 13 hours and she was found 13 miles away.
My legs hurt, my back hurt, my head pounding. And so I saw the hospital in the distance, started walking there. I actually have to ask the security guard where I am because I don't even know.
By the time I was able to get to the hospital, I saw Sarah being put in the back of a police car.
I thought that I was just going home. But when we got to the police station, they said that they were arresting me.
Around 4:30 Sunday morning, she was transported to the Adams County Jail and she was booked into custody. Her bond was $1,000.
I was charged with 2 counts of child abuse. That was really, really scary.
She was crying, she was frantic, she was freaking out. She didn't understand what was going on. After I bonded Sarah out and she was released from jail, I told her, "I love you. Is there anything you need to tell me?" And Sarah told me that she really did not know what happened. My worst fear at the time was that my wife was lying to me and that she was a true psychopath.
Sarah?
Hi.
Dr. Phil, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Matt?
Morning, sir.
Dr. Phil, how you doing?
Good.
Have a seat. Sarah, right here, if you would. Matt, right there.
Thank you, sir.
Tell me why you wanted to be here today.
To try and figure out what happened.
Has anything come back to you at all? Because that often can be the case. You'll start to get flashes, you'll start to see things. Just complete blank.
Yeah, everything's complete blank. There's nothing there.
You have no history of this with your wife, correct?
Correct.
She hasn't gone missing before.
Never.
She's not left the kids unattended. She hasn't taken them to the park. You show up, kids are there, she's off doing something.
This is completely uncharacteristic.
Any drug history here?
Never.
So this just came out of the blue.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah Hatfield's mysterious story captured headlines around the world in a case of what appears to be some kind of amnesia. But just 2 weeks ago, Sarah and her husband Matt found out that it is not the first time this has happened to her. Take a look at this and you'll understand.
About a month after the gas station incident, we received a letter in the mail from a local pawn shop telling us that our loan was due. I asked her, "What did you pawn?" She says, "What are you talking about? I didn't pawn anything."
I had absolutely no memory of it, and so we went down to the pawn shop.
The manager basically told Sarah, "Well, you pawned some jewelry." The manager had told me that they do in fact have video surveillance, and it definitely appeared to be Sarah on the video.
I could not believe it. It was me. That was the first time that I'd ever walked into that shop. I was extremely shocked.
I was a little taken aback. Sarah had pawned 2 necklaces and a ring, all of which had sentimental value to her, and she had received $125 cash. We have no idea where the money went.
There's other stuff missing from our home, an MP3 player, a gun's gone missing.
We have no idea what happened to that gun. It has never been located. I believe she did do something with it. After the pawn shop incident, I began to be a little more suspicious and doubtful of her truthfulness and honesty. As Sarah's husband, I believe it's my responsibility to give her the benefit of the doubt. But when you have evidence like that slapping you in the face, you kind of have to question things. I've always been desperate to find the truth.
Is this time to tell us what you haven't told us so far? Do you know something that you're not telling us? And if that's the case, let's deal with whatever led to that bad decision. Let's get your feet back on the ground. Let's get you home with your kids, and let's put all this behind us. And so I'm asking you carefully, sincerely, to think about that and tell me if you know more about this than you're letting on.
No. I've been honest from the beginning, and I've told everybody everything I've known. And, you know, I've never had anything to hide. If someone wants to know something about me, all I gotta do is ask. And
Sarah, I'm not accusing you. I'm trying to help you here because I'm telling you something. If this continues along this route and you're lying, every step you take, every small step you take is a mile from getting back to where you need to be. People make bad decisions. If you're one of those people, then own that, let's fix it, and let's move on. And there are inconsistencies in this that disallow a lot of the alternative diagnoses.
That's why we're trying to figure out what it is. Because we don't know what it is, and we don't know how to find out what it is.
You have a theory that she was taking Ambien, and she stopped taking it, and that there are known side effects to the use of Ambien. So we consulted a clinical psychologist and sleep specialist, Dr. Michael Bruce. And so Dr. Bruce is joining us via Polycom right now. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's ask you first to weigh in on the theory that this could be an abreaction, a side effect to the use or abrupt disuse of Ambien.
It wouldn't make sense based on her pattern of use. The Ambien was prescribed in November, and she was given a prescription for 30 pills, and she reported that she didn't use those pills every night. She used them every other night. So one of my biggest questions here, or thoughts about the idea that could it be the Ambien, it wouldn't make sense to me because, number one, you weren't using it every night, and for any of the reactions that we've ever seen with a medication like Ambien, usually it's somebody who's on it consistently, meaning every single night, for multiple nights in a row, which wasn't really the case for you. In my clinical opinion, I do not see this as an Ambien reaction. So my theory was Ambien probably didn't do this. What I was looking at is the potential of a psychogenic fugue and or some type of prescription drug or some type of drug influence here, either known to the patient or potentially unknown to the patient.
Well, expert polygraph examiner Jack Tremarco conducted this exam. You sat and talked with Jack for an extended period of time, right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Okay.
Were you comfortable with him? Did you feel like he knew what he was doing?
Yeah.
Well, here are the questions he asked you. Other than what you told me, do you remember details on January 28th of 2012 from the time you left your boys in the car until you telephoned your mother that night?
No.
And you answered?
No.
And the second question is, other than what you told me from the time you left your boys in the car on January 28th, 2012, until you telephoned your mother that night, do you recall any events?
No.
And you answered no.
Correct.
All right. The results of the test are that you were conclusively deceptive.
What?
That you were conclusively deceptive. It was not a close call. That when he asked you, do you remember things other than what you've told me, you said, no, I do not. And the result of the test is that, yes, you do remember things other than what you've told him.
But besides what we talked about, I don't remember anything, so.
Well, this is a quantitatively scored test with a scientific protocol. To have come across as truthful, you would have had to score a +4 on a scale, and you were a -13. Was not a close call. What do you say about that?
I don't even know what to say at this point.
Is there something you need to tell me?
I've been telling everyone the same thing.
I know
and
that.
I have been telling everyone the truth this entire time. There's nothing else I can add.
So there's nothing for me to help you with.
Unless we can figure out what's causing it.
Because I don't mean this egotistically, but I am a formidable ally. You know that. But I cannot help you if you don't confide in me. So anything you want to tell me?
I wish there was. I wish I knew what there was to say.
Anything you want to say before I conclude this conversation?
Speechless.
I want to make a couple observations to you. What I observe in you is that you have rather flat affect. And affect means emotion, expressive emotion. And you're rather flat, okay? And that can come from a lot of things. It can come from being depressed. It can come from different types of attitude and adjustment. It can come from drugs. It can come from a lot of things. I don't think you're on drugs. And I've watched you for that very carefully during this last hour. But I do think emotionally you're under a lot of stress, you're under a lot of pressure, and you're kind of shutting down.
Lately, yeah.
And, when you dissociate, and dissociate means exactly what it sounds like. You associate with somebody or you dissociate. And you associate, you dissociate. And sometimes you dissociate to the point that you lose time, you lose places. That's a possibility. But there's almost always some recall. There's some recollection, even though there's not control. You don't have the ability to not do it. But you're not telling me that. You're telling me I have zero, zip, nada, nothing recall about any of these 13 hours at all. So I pretty much have to discard that. This polygraph is not admissible in court. They can't use it against you.
I can use it against me.
Pardon me?
I said I can use it against me.
What do you mean?
It just makes me feel worse. Because I don't know what I'm missing.
We're going to continue to support you in trying to figure that out. I'm going to get you some professional help that's going to work with you on this to try to unravel this on an ongoing basis. If they need to testify on your behalf, I'm sure they will, to talk about what they learn and find out from this. But I'm going to get you someone to continue to support you in this manner, because I don't know what happened here. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.